Hey friends, how's it going today? It's Sunday. In case you didn't know, it's time for comic book church.
Comic Church.
Comic church. I'm so happy, Mars, you're here with me again today. It's not just me like shouting into the void, or just being like, I got this book. I think like last week whenever I did like the rundown of the books that I had got, it lasted 30 minutes. So
It
that's
was
the
a cute it
difference.
was a cute, sweet show. I was there in the comments. I feel so ridiculously guilty for not showing up last week, but listen,
Oh, no
listen,
worries.
your girl literally moved a whole house in 90-degree weather the day
Yeah.
before. Was not feeling it, could not get out of bed. Was like, all right, I'll be back next week. But everybody was so insanely like kind and loving, and my fucking DMs both on Twitter and Instagram were like blowing up, like, are you okay? Do you need anything? And I'm like, you all are just the sweetest
Oh,
people, and I missed you all so much, but I missed Jen the most.
aw, I missed you too. A lot. So I'm so glad that you're back. Um, we've got, so in case you didn't know, friends, we've got um, two, two, two weeks of books to go over. Let's go into, and I got like a couple like extra purchases this week. Like went to a couple shops and
As
really
she
excited.
always does.
So here's the thing, friends, is that like we were talking a little bit backstage about how I just kind of got this like work thing. I'm doing like a Monday through Friday 9 to 5, which has never been in my repertoire, and I'm used to having new comic book day off, so I'm literally there right when the shop opens, and I have not been able to do that. Normally on Wednesday, I'll go to like 2 or 3 shops, and I've only been able to go to one shop the last couple of weeks, and like even though I love them, it's kind of been killing me. But I've been missing out on like some variants and like some other publishers, and I'll talk about one in a second. But I'll go ahead and say hello to the chat because I know I can see the chat is going, and I'm so happy
Blowing
that
up.
some friends are here. I love you all so much. So first, let's go ahead and, of course, we've got Travis TM Nerdy in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, friend. And then we've got John Thomas. Hello. Hopefully you're feeling better. Yeah, I wanted to be. I didn't want to like put your business out there when you weren't here last week, but I wanted to be like, I promise y'all, like she's
She
good,
fine.
like she's good, like it's but it's I just think that like we needed a week off. I mean,
It was a combination of both work going into full peak and working insane hours, and then, like I said,
yeah,
I literally helped a friend move because that's what adults do. Is you
yeah.
help your friends move even when it's 90 million degrees outside and you're going from a house to a storage unit. So
Oh,
I needed a little break.
as you all know, like I have a tiny, tiny, tiny apartment, and my partner keeps being like, "We need to get a bigger place. We need to get a bigger place." And I'm like, "Well, maybe when our lease is up." And I think about that moment, and even not moving in 90 plus degree weather, I don't like. I'm just like,
I
we're
don't want
stuck
to
here now.
imagine how many books it would take or how many boxes it would take to get all of your comics out. Like that, ooh, it's a lot of boxes.
It's a lot. And since I've moved here to like literally like the capital of comic books, like Comic Book City, and noisy city, but I feel like my comic book collection has grown exponentially, but we'll get into that. So thank you all for being here, and hello, my friend John is here. John, so happy that you're here. Let's go and see here. Hello, Bobby. Good morning. Good morning. Hello to James. Good morning, comic fam. And then hello to Eric with the stash. Let's go ahead and see here. Hello, to John Ross. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And then we've got John Stout. Hello, John. And then we've got Banshee Queen. Hello. Happy Comic Church, everybody. Um, hello, Super Stick Boy. Thank you for the station. And then we've got Gary B, the casual comic guy. Um, Travis, I know that you've got one of the wrenches. If you want to go ahead and drop a link to Gary B, because Gary B has been doing so many amazing things, shouting out the community and like helping us like hashtag grow together and like get followers amongst all of our channels. So anyone who has a wrench, I know Travis you do, but if you want to drop a link to Gary B and return that, because Gary's doing some really great things over on his channel as well. We've got Eric Bigby. Hello, everybody. Unruly Simeon. Hello. Thank you for being here. And then hello, my friend Justin. Justin and I got a chance to chat yesterday. Super cool, super fun time. Really looking forward to some things that we talked about like in the future, some projects. So thank you so much for being here. I'm really sorry if I missed anyone. Comic Burrito, hello. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Oh, the chat. Hello. Caps on Comics, hello. Thank you so much. And then we've got Real Rude 6. Thank you for being here. I'm just going from the bottom up now instead of top bottom. Let's see if that works. And then I don't know if I said hello to Fable, but hello to Fable. Let's see here. Brother Joe, thank you so much for being here. Hello, good morning, happy Sunday. Okay, I think that I got everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the bottom. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I think I got everyone. If I didn't get you, comment again and I'll put it up. Okay, so now that I got all those hellos out of the way, how are you doing? How's your last week been?
I'm good. Tired, catching up on a million comics.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like the last 2 weeks, like last week, this past week, my stack was pretty big. Still haven't gotten through all of it, but then even the books that I didn't get through last week, I got through most of those. And let's go ahead. I've got all the books that I read from last week. Maybe not all the ones I bought.
You want to do last week first?
Let's do last week first.
What you got?
You know what? I know that you are really, really itching, I assume, to talk about a particular book. If you want to go ahead and talk about one book in particular from last week.
Is it my girlfriend? Is it my girlfriend Yara Flor? So first off, okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, we'll start with these two. All right, so these are the covers I bought because I love Yara Flor and I'm obsessed with her. But then Sheena, who is my comic queen, goddess, heavenly divine, sent me the Incentive 1 in 25 J. Scott Campbell cover because she knows how much I love Yara Flor. So Sheena, if you're watching the replay, thank you so much because I love you and I love Yara. And yeah, I'm just really happy. Anywho, Yara Flor. All right, Real Rude 6, we're going to fight because me and Greg, aka Bearded Comic Bro. Listen, man, we are the king and queen and or presidents and or whatever title you want to call us. We are presidents of the Yara Flor fan club. We're going to make t-shirts. It's going to be great. Greg, if you're watching, please confirm. Thank you.
And you have a show. You're doing a show tomorrow with Greg, right?
We're doing a show, but I believe that it's going to be pre-recorded.
Got it.
And then Greg will be uploading it onto his channel later this week. So, yeah, Yara Flor. So this issue, let me preface it. This issue is a very, very slow burn. It's setting up for the world that we're getting into. Not really sure where it falls with the Future State timeline because this feels like more of a prequel to what we saw with Yara Flor Future State. But listen, Yara Flor is just the cutest, patootiest of my heart. She is a badass. She's a babe, and I would die for her. But we already know that. However,
something hard for Yara Flor.
Something hard. You have no idea. Like, oh my god, I've not felt this way about a person in a long time. Anyway, so Yara Flor, we get to see a little bit of her backstory, which is kind of tragic and really, really sad, and makes me want to like hold Yara and tell her everything's gonna be okay. But if I'm being honest, it seems like she's pretty good on her own anyway. But Joelle Jones, man, her art is so fucking great. We get to see her, the fact that she can draw women of color the way that she does, you know, and I know that she doesn't do the colorist herself. I believe Jordi Belair is the colorist on this book.
That sounds right. I know
Yes.
Jordi Belair does do a lot of the colors.
Jordi Belair is the colorist, but I mean, it's a combination of both the line work, the way that, you know, her characters come to life, and the coloring in general. She's just really great at drawing these people of color, because there's multiple people of color, but we get to see, you know, Nubia. We get to see all of these different groups. I absolutely love some of the splash pages in this book, and I'm just, listen, I wish this book was a bi-weekly book, because I love this book so much. It was pretty much everything I want it to be, even if it was a little slow. Because when we think about Future State, I guess maybe because it was 2 issues, it was like jam-packed. We were getting into the thick of it. It was action-packed. It was fun. This, like I said, it's a little bit of a slower burn, because I believe that this is just an ongoing. I don't believe it's a limited or a mini-series. So listen, if y'all want to give me 2,000 issues of Yara Flor, I will buy 2,000 issues of Miss Yara Flor. But that's enough about me. How did you feel about Yara?
I 100% I agree with all the sentiments. Like you said, slow burn, and that's 100% how I felt about this. And I was like, I'll be honest, I had to reread this one twice, or I had to read it twice, because when I read it, I'm like, man, I feel like this is really slow. Did I miss something? And then I had to think of that perspective of whenever Infinite Future, sorry, oh my God, Future State, people, whenever Future State Wonder Woman came out, it's like Joel Jones has 2 issues, 3, however many that was, to tell the story. And so I just don't think that this is going to be that story. This one's going to take a little bit more for pacing. I will say, however, if this was the first introduction to Yara Flor that I ever got, I'd probably not pick it up again. I will say that I loved this title. I love this title. I loved the Future State, but I do wish that this was more of an action-packed first issue. We did get that like end of the book
like pull,
but I do wish that maybe came a little sooner. But anyways, I really love it. Of course, I'm going to keep buying it. I'm going to try to buy all the covers that I can get. So
absolutely.
That was from last week.
That was from last week. And I think my biggest complaint leaving off is y'all didn't buy enough copies, because it has not gone to 2nd printing or 3rd printing. And listen, I want to buy multiple printings. So if you have not bought Wonder Girl yet, go buy Wonder Girl. Let's get her to 9 printings.
Yep.
So I can have an excuse to buy 9 copies.
But I think that's I think that whole like 2nd printing can be a little bit deceptive, because I've said it before. I really think that that's a marketing ploy that Image is doing right now. Like, I feel like with every single Image book, whether it ends up being number 1 or number even 3 or 4 in a series, it ends up, I think that they're on purpose doing low print runs. So then every day I can get an email from Kat Salazar from Image and be like, oh, this got rushed to 2nd printing. So I would say don't let the lack of 2nd printing fool you. I think that DC did print enough of these to just, to do what they needed to do. That's my perspective. Hello, John. Thank you for being here. 2 of your favorite YouTube bosses. I was under the impression that Kate and Charlie were the YouTube bosses. So thank you for being here, John. The next book that I want to talk about, because I'm going to talk about it, because it's my favorite book right now. And that's The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. Of course, I picked up 2 of each. And of course, I got the foily boys, which are beautiful in person, but I just don't think that it translates well when you're looking on a screen. So don't let this cover fool you. It's beautiful, I promise. But everybody needs to be reading The Many Deaths of Layla Starr.
I didn't get a chance to read it. Jen's gonna kill me. You can talk about it. You can tell me all about it. It's fine.
Okay, so I'm not necessarily going to spoil it, but my heart is a little bit broken, but only a little bit because it's already been crushed to a million pieces before.
It broke with Swamp Thing. It's fine.
It really did. But the second issue just really pulls those emotional punches. In this issue, I feel like we get an insight into the Indian caste system, because Layla Starr, in this body, ends up walking around India, and the boy Darius has grown up and is retelling a story. At least that's the perspective someone's telling her the story. Anyways, Darius, the young boy who is supposed to grow up and invent a cure for death, which is basically put her out of the job. She wants to go and kill him. So he recalls this man who was in his life previously, who his family just wouldn't allow him to like touch or get near, but just had a really impactful like point in his life, and it's so beautiful. And seriously, I love this. I know I keep saying it. I love this book so much. It makes me sad. I think there's only going to be five.
I think so. That sounds about right.
Insanely short. This is what I need. I know you mentioned that we want like 1,000 issues of this. I need 1,000 issues of Layla Starr. Like 7 seasons and a movie, please and thank you.
7 seasons and a movie.
Is it 7 seasons in a movie, 6 seasons in a movie, whatever. But I love it so much. The artwork is beautiful. The writing is beautiful. You all know, if you're here, I love Rom V. And I love this book a lot. So.
And Rom V just recently started teasing something else for Image Comics as well. Yeah. I'm not wondering if it's another Silver Coin.
I think that he was on the list for Silver Coin, it looked like. Yeah. Yep.
So more Rom V, please. What else did we have?
Dawn is accusing you of having a look on your face that says guilty. Guilty as charged.
I didn't get it. I didn't read the book. I didn't listen. I'm gonna read the book. There's a lot of books that I was like, oh, I'm gonna read that this week, and then I never read. So
I need all of you, since this is Comic Book Church, I need all of you to do like 10 Hail Marys, or I don't know. Come collect your punishment.
Collect your punishment.
Man, I need all of you to read Layla Starr.
From last week, because we're still on last week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this book, this fucking book. Yeah. Oh my God. Listen, Tom Taylor can steal my goddamn soul with Nightwing at this point. Like,
yeah,
I can't explain how much I love Nightwing right now. I know I've said it before, but this is every fucking thing I have ever wanted from a Nightwing book. It is millennial as fuck. It is quirky. It is witty. It is funny, and it gets emotional. And I'm just like, oh, and we got Bruno Redondo drawing sexy ass shirtless Nightwing carrying a dog. All right. Who's there also wait a minute, hold on, is it this issue? Because this happened a lot in DC Comics within the past 2 weeks. Yeah, it is in this issue. Nightwing is wearing a Black Canary Band t-shirt, and I'm like, I love this because we see that in Teen Titans Academy, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Everybody's a fucking fan of the Black Canary Band, and for good reason. She's pretty fucking, you can't see it, there she is. She's pretty fucking amazing, okay, y'all? But Nightwing is just so much fun. It's so great. In this issue, we get to see Tim Drake pop up, and I'm not a fan of Tim Drake. I really am not, but I like seeing him interact with Dick. I like the fact that we get to see more of their brotherly bond, and they even talk about that a little bit. There is some just absolutely ridiculous, gorgeous fight sequences from Bruno Redondo that literally mimic fucking Matt Fraction and David Asia's Hawkeye.
Yep. That's what I kept thinking the entire time. I'm like, this keeps reminding me so much of Hawkeye, which I love. Like, I don't necessarily want to make that sound like it's derivative or that like we've seen this before. Like, seriously, like that is said with a lot of love.
But it's the type of book where it's like, okay, you liked Hawkeye? Okay, we'll go read Nightwing, because if you really enjoyed Hawkeye, you're going to really, really enjoy Nightwing. David K mentioned that this really has become the Bat Family book we need, and I agree, because we see Batgirl show up. We show, well, Barbara Gordon, I guess, who has now assumed the role of Oracle again. Thank God. Tim Drake has popped up. Listen here. Give me some spicy, angsty Jason Todd boy popping up. Again, this is another book where if it was Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo, because I think Bruno's art really does make it for me a lot. I feel like if this creative team was on this book, again, would take 1,000 issues, because this book is so much fun. And I never, ever, like, I don't want it to end. Like, this is the book at this point that I think I'm looking forward to each and every month.
Yeah. And I think, you know, granted, like we're only halfway through the year, but I keep talking about how I think that, like, I'm trying to think of like these, like, like maybe a mid-year like wrap up so far, and I feel like Nightwing is definitely one of the standout comics for me, and it's pretty rare that like a big 2-book would really make it to that list. So I'm glad that it is, because I feel like my like books that I end up gravitating towards the most and end up loving are usually going to be the indie titles. It's obviously skewed that way. Really quick, because I don't know if it got dropped earlier, but I did drop the link to Gary B. Gary B. the Casual Comic Guy. I did drop a link if you want to go ahead and follow. I am also about to drop a link to Small Town Collectibles, Jimmy's channel. So anyone who hasn't also followed Jimmy, please go and do so, because totally both really great guys, fantastic in the community, and just this like hashtag Grow Together initiative for like channels. I know that there's probably a lot of people in the chat who wouldn't be here if it wasn't for being shouted out by these two fine fellas here. So thank you so much. When I know that you just gushed about Nightwing. I agree with all of that. You know, you mentioned like this is the Bat Family book, and I do feel like I've felt it for a very long time, where with Batman titles, I just get so overwhelmed. When there was the whole like Dark Knight's Metal, Joker War, all of that going on, like I couldn't care less about it, right? And I'll be honest, right now, what do we have? 10 Bat titles going on. We've got Batman 4.
We've got more than that.
Batman Catwoman. We've got Second Son. Like, we've got all these titles that we didn't ask. I mean, I didn't ask for them. And I truly feel like if it wasn't for Nightwing, I really wouldn't. This is like the only even like Bat book that I would be reading, unless a Batwoman book came out, but I don't know.
Also, Small Town Collectibles is making me nervous. Can we shh? I'm trying to mentally prepare for that tonight. So I am going to be on a show tonight at 7:30. I don't know. It's on my Instagram, so go check out my Instagram. But I'm going to be on Slotted Up's show Rigged tonight, and your girl's just a little nervous, because I've got all this comic book brain, but I know as soon as I get asked a question, my brain's going to go, Yara floor. No matter what the answer, Yara floor. It's going to be just dumb. It's going to be great. But yeah,
here's what I have to
try
say.
my best.
I truly don't think that you will fail any less miserably than I failed doing comic gories on John's channel, because it was like 30 seconds and I think it took me like a minute to get back. So I'm sure that you will do great. You are going to crush it like thunder thighs in Orphan and the Five Beasts. I know I'm dropping a lot of links for people to go and check out, but I am dropping the link to Slotted Up's channel so y'all can watch Mars crush
Root
it.
for your girl.
Crush it. And I do want to mention here, because I think that John, we kind of have a similar taste where it's a lot more indie heavy, and 100% non-Batman titles from DC. Far Sector is one of my favorites, which I think the last issue is wrapping up. Swamp Thing, of course. Wonder Girl. So, really glad to know that not everyone likes the Bat books, because I'm just like, meh. One of the sorry, while we're talking about Nightwing really quick, I ended up buying this
Oh,
yesterday, so I
I
got,
love that. Yes,
yeah.
I picked that up too. It's so,
Mhm.
listen, Bruno Redondo is just, I want him on more books. He's
Right?
so fantastic, so amazing. If you haven't read Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad already, please pick that up. I believe that the hardcover collection just dropped like 2 weeks ago, and it's got all
Did.
12 or 11 issues in it. I think it was 11, but that was definitely like my favorite book last year, and I was so sad to see it end, but glad that they're back on Nightwing. So if you're liking the vibe of Nightwing, if you want to see some goofy superheroes, if you want to see some badass representation of superheroes, or supervillains, I guess, read Suicide Squad, because it's pretty great and one of my favorites.
I'm literally like surrounded by stacks of books here. Like, it is no joke. I've got that book right here to hopefully read at some point. But literally I've got like 4 stacks of books. So I know you said that you didn't read this one. I know that I talked about it a little bit. Sorry. Um, I
Spiritual
really
Boyfriend.
Spiritual Boyfriend, he doesn't really show up too much, but I feel like this is the issue that finally convinced me that I like Luna. Because I mean, granted, like, I like it, the artwork's beautiful, but the storytelling is kind of all over the place and it's slow, which I can 100% understand. The Because Maria Lovett isn't a native English speaker, so I understand as a native English reader, like, I understand that I may not necessarily get the concepts or anything like that. That there are some things that are lost in translation. 100% understand that. But this issue finally, like, actually did it for me, where I feel like it went somewhere. And I think there's, what, 2 issues left? 1 or 2 issues?
There are 2 issues left because it was originally slated to be a 4-issue series. This was supposed to be the last one, but it got kicked to 5. So there's going to be 1 more issue. And it makes me curious because it's like, is this how the ending was intended? Was how it ends here? And I just kind of peeked and I'm like, this would be really interesting if, I mean, I don't know the concept, but just looking at the last page and kind of being like, oh, interesting. It's like, is this how it's supposed to end? Or are you just giving it another issue because of the wild success? So we will see next month.
But I don't know, with the wild success of Maria Lovett, I'm sure that we will get another title from or, well, this one's Boom. I feel like we'll get another title from, like, Image, or I don't know.
I believe Image actually did just announce another Maria Lovett title.
They
did, and I'm on the fence because I'm like, burned 3 times already. It's another Mirka Andolfo, but we'll talk more about that in the next couple weeks. Next week, maybe, and we'll talk about previews and stuff.
I want to say hello to a couple other people in the chat. We've got Actual Dracula. We've got Tulp Fiction. Sleepy Reader 666, good morning. And then Chaos, Chris, thank you so much for being here. I know you said that you really, really are hyped on Luna, but more than plot typewriter. Yeah. One of the other books, I don't think that you're reading, but Daredevil just continues to be such a great story. And I actually picked this one up with this, like, newer run, because I knew that, like, we were getting spoiler alert, I knew that we were getting Elektra as Daredevil, so I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and, like, try to dip my toe in. And now I'm actually trying to go back and reread the Zdarsky run from the start. So that's how much I really like this, is that I'm literally going back 30 issues. I started it, I think, issue 26 or something, whatever it was, but I'm going back that far to get into it because I enjoyed it that much. What other books did you get last week?
I did read Valkyrie, since we're on the topic of Marvel. I did read Valkyries. I read Valkyrie's #2, and the only reason I did is because I had picked up the cover with Peach Momoko. Because at this point, I'm just going to pick up everything every Peach Momoko does. Don't even care at this point. And I figured I figured I have issue 2, so why not read it? And can confirm it's just it's Peach Momoko, or not Peach Momoko, Valkyries could have been so much more. And I know it's just a repeat of what I said last month. I was gonna say last year, but last month, where it's like Jason Aaron needs to let go of this iron grip that he has on the Thor universe and the Thor lore and let other people take it, because I think about how much better of a book Valkyries would be, because you got all these badass ladies and they're just kind of boring and they're bland. And I think about if they were, this is going to be my millennial brain popping out, but if they were a little bit more hip, a little bit more cool, made some more jokes, maybe were written by Kelly Thompson. If it was a book written by Kelly Thompson, we could just have a lot of fun with it. And it's not fun. It's pretty to look at. The artwork in Valkyries is gorgeous. I can't think of the artist off the top of my head, but they did previous work with Kelly Thompson on Jessica Jones. But it's just not it's not, and the concept is there. I like some of the moments we get between Loki and between Jane Foster, because they do have this long history with one another. And I'm like, okay, I'm vibing with this. And then out of nowhere, Kraven the Hunter appears. And listen here, chat, listen. I know I don't read Marvel, but I was under the impression that Kraven the Hunter was a Spider-Man villain. So why is he in a Thor book? I am very confused. Speaking of Kraven the Hunter, why is Aaron Tyler Johnson playing Kraven the Hunter when Henry Cavill exists? Listen, I know I'm biased towards Henry Cavill. Okay, I'm biased as fuck. But Kraven the Hunter needs to be the biggest, beefiest, hairiest, himbo-looking motherfucker, and Aaron Johnson is not that. I don't like it. It makes me sad.
You know, that's kind of how I feel about Natalie Portman playing Jane Foster, Dr. Thor. I feel like, to me, Jane Foster Thor in the comics is like beefy, and I've seen like pictures of her like Natalie Portman like beefed up a little bit, but I'm like, I need you to be like beefy. I don't know. Like,
to be fair,
like a thick girl.
To be fair, Natalie has an excuse because she was casted before we got Jane Foster Thor. So I'm gonna give her a pass on that. It's not her fault that she became Thor and now has to beef up. Can you imagine her sitting there and being like, "Yeah, I'll play this doctor role. No big deal. Don't have to change anything." 5 years pass. Oh, by the way, you're Thor now. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
What?
But that's my thing, though. How long has she had to beef up? Because if she knew that playing Jane Foster Thor was going to be a possibility, she's literally had years to get bulked up. And she looks like she had a protein shake and did a couple of like, she just got her gym membership this year, folks. Like,
we want Jane yoked to death.
I'm just kidding. I think Natalie Portman is a phenomenal actor. I don't see her as Jane Foster Thor yet. I'm waiting for that movie to prove me wrong. I have very high expectations for Jane Foster Thor. I am convinced, my like comic book conspiracy theory brain is like, I know Angela's gonna show up. Like, I just really hope that Angela does show up, but who knows? So kind of, you know, since we are on the subject, on the topic of Marvel, I picked up Fantastic Four Life Story, and I know I talked a little bit about it last week. I really enjoyed it. That being said, I'm not a very big Fantastic Four fan.
They're boring.
They're boring, and none of the stories really like resonated with me.
In the terms of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, is it Brooklyn Nine-Nine or is it The Good Place? Ya basic. That's how I feel about the Fantastic Four. It's just ya basic.
Like, I feel like any Fantastic Four book that I've ever read, I just cringe the entire time. Like it makes me feel uncomfortable, and it's the payoff is never really there for me. But anyways, that being said, I really did enjoy Life Story. I added this to my pull list, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So I missed out on Spider-Man Life Story, which took him like through decades,
Mm-hmm.
and this one was the 60s. We're going to go into the 70s next. So really excited to see where this actually goes. This to me like uh because like Galactus is obviously like the big bad of Fantastic Four, and in this book, Reed Richards sees a like premonition or like a glimpse of Galactus, and then goes back to Earth where everything is normal, and is basically having this like existential crisis breakdown of like, fuck, we've got to do something. Like Galactus is like on his way, and I feel like I really felt that like existential dread of that in this book, and I've never Fantastic Four has never made me feel anything, let alone existential dread. So really, really excited to see where this goes. I know I just like rambled on about just I want to see where it goes because it's really good. Um, Really quick, there's a couple more people in the chat. I do want to say hello. Oh my goodness, where did you go? Rod, Just a Rican in his comics, one of my favorite people in the community. Thank you so much for being here. I feel like I saw someone else. I don't know if I said hello, but hello to Chip. Thank you for being here. And then Aggressively Relaxing. I'm listening to Natalie Portman rap. Yeah, I did see was it like Saturday Night Live?
It's so
Little
great. It's one
skit.
of my
That
favorite
is cute.
things.
I need her to bring that energy to Jane Foster Thor.
Oh,
That's all I'm
100%.
saying. What other books did you get last week? I've got
I only have one more for last week.
Okay.
Last week was pretty light for me, actually.
Wow.
I mean, I did have I did pick up the Autumnal, and I did pick up what is it called? I Walk with Monsters. But I haven't got a chance to read them yet. I think those are ones that I'm going to need to sit down and read them all together because I am a little bit behind on both of those. However, the series I'm not behind on, and the series that continues to fuck with my emotions, Stray Dogs. This is Stray Dogs number 3, or is it 4? Oh, she's flipping.
4.
Is it 4? Stray Dogs 4? I don't know, but it's stressing me out and it needs to stop, please. Please. I can't. I think we have one issue left. I believe it's a 5-issue series. We have one issue left.
I will be honest, I didn't read issue 4 yet. So
I will try to keep it spoiler free.
Light spoilers.
Light spoilers. Things continue to get dark as fuck, crazy as fuck. This book literally, it starts off so cute and so sweet. And, you know, you kind of get that hint of, oh, this person killed my lady. And you're like, okay, they killed your lady. I mean, that's still bad. I'm not trying to play that's not bad. It's bad. Man's a serial killer. But the book continues to get worse and worse for the dog. So last month we saw one of the dogs actually die. You can't kill a dog. I'm sorry. I can't. Listen, I know. Just whatever. We see one of the dogs actually die or be murdered by the serial killer man. And in this issue, it gets infinitely worse. And I will leave it at that. It gets infinitely worse. So, Stray Dogs, if you're not reading this, again, continues to be one of my absolute favorite series. I absolutely love Trisha Forstner on art. Her art is absolutely divine and gorgeous. I love the fact that they are doing perfect for the series. I love the fact that they are doing these horror homage variants. And actually, they just announced issue number 1 is going back to 3rd printing, which I'm really excited about because it is getting a homage to the Scream cover. So I'm picking that up just for the fact that it's Scream, and Scream is one of my favorites. I'm going to be really sad when this book ends. This is one of those books where, like, I don't want 1,000 issues of it because it would draw out the story.
Yeah.
But I am still going to be sad when it's over because this is definitely probably like my favorite Image book that they've put out in a while.
There are a couple of Image books that I do like, but I agree. Like we've talked about it before, where like Image, I feel like is hit or miss, and Stray Dogs is obviously a hit. So whatever that is, Tony Fleece and Trisha Forster,
Mm-hmm.
keep doing what you're doing, because like I would love to see that combination again.
And Travis, I think, just interviewed Trisha on his channel,
Mm-hmm.
or that's about to go live, or there was
Yeah.
something in there. So definitely check out TM Nerdy's channel, because
Yeah.
there's stuff going on with Stray Dogs. And yeah, it's a phenomenal book. I have literally no bad things to say about it at all. The pacing is there, the tone, the tension is there, because I know that was a big complaint for a lot of people. Was, okay, this book was presented as a horror book. Where's the horror? Where's the scary? And I feel like it's like that violin crescendo that's just like slowly, it's just picking up, and it's just, it's a chef kiss.
It's funny because on the Friday night show that I do with Hero and the Kid, or Wildebeest, and you know, we've got Fire Guy Ryan, we've got Sammy, we've got Bearded Comic Bro, and the way that I felt about it was that I thought that it was literally going to be like Silence of the Lambs, like it was going to be like an intense psychological thriller. And I think I said this on when it was on book 2, and I'm like, it's not a horror book to me, but I still really enjoy it. And then Will, who is 14, 15, he was like, I thought that it was going to be a kid book, and it turns out that it's more horror. So even though both of our expectations were flipped, like I think that no matter which way that you think it's going to go, you're going to like it, because it's just been a fantastic read. I've got like a couple here, but I already mentioned them last week. So if you are ready, we can definitely get
You want to
into
jump
some
into
of
this week?
this week's books.
Because this week was huge. Like we all know that I spend dumb bitch money and I buy books for covers. Every book I picked up this week, except for maybe like 1 or 2, it was like I had to read it. With the 2 being the Nightwing reprint variant for issue, what was that,
79?
79. And then I picked up Strange Adventures number 11. I don't know why I'm still picking that up. I stopped reading it at issue 6, because it's just better when you can binge like 6 issues. So when it all comes out, I will probably read through the whole series, because the covers are absolutely gorgeous. So, and I'm a Tom King shill, so I don't mind throwing him some extra money. But this is everything that I read this week, and I'm like, I feel like a crazy, insane lady.
You know, I said that I read a lot of things, but I feel like, hold on, let me organize this a little bit better. Are those all? No, these are this week. And this being said, I don't think that I got any. I got like maybe 1 or 2 variant covers, so really not that much. But was that last week?
Too much.
This is what I picked up that I didn't read.
Oof.
Everything that I read is backed and boarded, so I've got like a nice little stack that I've got. I'll probably I was thinking about like going to the park and reading. I don't know if I'll bring this, but I did get some single issues, some trades, so I'll probably read those. But I've definitely got a lot here that I didn't read, and a couple things that I did. So Tom King shill, which reminds me of that time Jen was sipping her drink and eating my fake popcorn. Totally not planned. Oh, and hello to Scott. Thanks for being here.
Totally not planned.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a big week. A lot of heavy hitters. A lot of heavy hitters. It felt like a lot of my favorite books came out this week. Which is ironic, because there was a lot of disappointments this week with books that I had loved previously.
Really?
So it is going to be a semi-violent morning. But
today we didn't wake up and chose
we didn't
violence.
Wake up.
The violence chose us this week.
There it is. The violence chose us. I will start off with what is probably my favorite book of the week. And I'm actually surprised because this one totally almost slipped my radar. We talked about issue 1 last month and how much we loved it. But the fact that Alice in Leatherland right now is like my favorite book on my pull list. This is the palette cleanser. This is the blueprint for palette cleansing. This book is so fucking wholesome. It feels like less erotic Sunstone in a way. It feels like less erotic Sunstone. It's just so for a quick recap, a girl finds out that her longtime girlfriend has been cheating on her. She is a, I guess, novelist or illustrator. She's in publishing and she decides to pick up everything, move to San Francisco. She's got a friend who is also unapologetically queer, and I can't think of anybody's names right now, but I fucking love this character. She's my favorite. I want her to marry me.
I blanked. The first time we talked about it, I blanked on the main character's name, and it's literally the title of the book, and missed out on that one.
I love this book. Oh, Robin. Her name is Robin. Okay. She looks like Robin. I love this book. So she ends up moving to San Francisco, decides she doesn't want to move in with her friend because she doesn't want awkward tension between them. So instead, little Alice decides that she is going to move into a BDSM house. Is that the proper terminal? I don't know the proper terminal. She is in a
I would just say like it's an open house.
An open house.
That where everyone who lives there is just kind of themselves, and it looks like several of them may be sex workers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that both of them are sex workers, in their own way. I believe the one is a dom, and the other one, they might both be doms. I'm not really sure, but this book is just wholesome. It's fun. The dialogue is great. It reads like a webcomic. Like, honestly, it reads like a webcomic. One of those ones where, like, I'm so excited to see it go week to week. We see them at Pride Parade in this issue, and it's just like, it's just wholesome. Makes me happy. It's unapologetically gay, and I just think it's really freaking cute, especially because it ends with our little sweet Alice having to work in a sex shop, which I think is the cutest, most wholesome thing in the entire world.
This is me choosing violence.
Uh-oh.
I love this book.
She's choosing violence.
I'm choosing violence today. I love this book, but I feel like it is written. So the Alice, who's our main character, like all the things you said, like moving to San Francisco, which is like queer capital of the world. And she goes to like the Pride Parade, and Alice, it seems, feels a little bit lost, which I can understand, especially if you are like a baby gay and you've never been to like a Pride Fest. I feel like there is a lot of talk right now about if kink and leather should be in Pride parades within Pride, and yes, it should, and there's a very good gosh darn reason for it. And I feel like Alice is very timid and very prude, and I feel like I don't want to say offended by that, but I felt like her, like going to the Pride parade and seeing like people without their shirts on, and she was like, and so I guess like for me, like that was a point of contention. And then she does go to work in a sex shop, and okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and like obviously that's a
she's
place
gonna
that
choose
I've been
violence.
to. Obviously like that's a place that I've been to in my life, or maybe I know a friend, whatever, heard from a friend, but when Alice goes to work there, she's completely unfamiliar with the territory. She's completely unfamiliar with the product. She is embarrassed, like she's blushing, which I guess is cute, but it put me out of the element because it's like, if you've ever been to a sex shop and the person behind the counter didn't seem like they wanted to be there, it's miserable. So that's all that I'm saying. So anyways, I love it though, but I feel like that's my like suspension of disbelief.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes sense. I just like the fact that it's wholesome and it's happy, and it's like, I thought this book was going to be very like Sunstone, and it does feel like Sunstone, but it feels like a little bit
It is
lighter and a little bit more
I want it to
goofy.
be Sunstone. I want it to be like really, really kinky, and it's not yet. I'm waiting.
I think
I'm
it's gonna
waiting
get
for it.
there.
I'm waiting for it, especially because all the smut peddler books that I'm reading, I'm just like, I
That's what
need
it
this
is.
to
It's
be
smut
smut,
peddler.
and it's not. So anyways, it is really cute. It's really adorable. I don't want those comments to like make anyone knock at this book because it is wholesome and it like does like, I want her by the end of this book though, I want her to literally be like, I love this culture. So anyways, I do love this book.
It's a great book.
I probably should have been like, we're going to talk about PG-13 plus type stuff. But, choosing violence.
Choosing violence.
One of the books, let me think here. Did you happen to get Old Guard?
I did.
Okay.
I did get Old Guard. Is it bad that I have to be like, I have to relook at? Okay, yes, I remember now. I couldn't remember the second story for some reason.
That's because I'm sorry, but the second story I did not enjoy. I mean, I was in it for the Kelly Pseudoconic Valentine Delandro combo.
You mean Bitch Planet Reunites?
Yes. That's 100%.
Bitch, I thought of you and I was like,
Yeah.
wait a second, this is the Bitch Planet team.
Yeah.
Did not love this book nearly as much as the first one. The first one I really, really liked. And if I'm being quite honest, the reason why I liked the first one as much as I did is because of the Greg Rucka Fernando Blanco story, or I can't think of his last name, but the original Old Guard creative team. That's the story I liked, was the story from the Old Guard team. Now that other people are starting to do it and we're starting to see other characters, it's a little bizarre. I thought that we were going to be seeing new people, like new people of the Old Guard.
I thought
we
so too.
we have not. So far, the first story we see is this like samurai story, which was interesting. I really liked it. I think it could have been done a little better, maybe. But it is a very visual interpretation. I will say that this little splash page is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
That was absolutely amazing. But I wanted more. And I'm still going to pick this book up because it is an anthology.
Mm-hmm.
It is set in the Old Guard universe, which I absolutely love. But I need more. I need that extra oomph.
I agree, and I think that it's interesting to see like where these characters are going through history. I really did like. I did like the first story. The second story did not. I didn't connect with it. I feel like if anyone read this and they really liked the first half of it, the first story, I would say pick up Devil's Red Bride. I feel like I know that was not a. I feel like that was not a story that you like loved. I don't think that you finished that one, but
it has those vibes.
It really had those vibes. I thought it was really good, and I liked that the main character in this story is telling their story as the action's going. So they're like in the middle of a fight scene, like literally like slicing and dicing. That's how I slice and dice. They're literally slicing and dicing, and they're telling the story, narrating the story as they're going along, which I really appreciated that. So I really liked that storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
absolutely.
I'm still gonna pick it up. I did not like the latter half story, but loved
the latter half. I see the concept there, and I think it's interesting, but it was boring. It was boring AF. Don't care for it.
Bye, Katie. Have a great night, day, whatever time it is.
I guess we'll just keep going with Image.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just realized something. Okay, we'll get into that. Give me a second. Okay, so haha, number 4. Haha.
Haha.
Do you want to know what my realization was? That I'm an idiot and I didn't realize it? The artist for haha number 4 is Gabriel Hernandez Walted, who did Barbalian the Red Planet. I was literally flipping and I was like, that looks really familiar. And then I'm like, oh shit, it's Barbalian. I
This is
love
me
this
with
issue.
that, like, that's me with, like, I'm a dummy face on,
I have a
because,
dummy
yeah.
face. I should have noticed it. So, haha, another anthology. It feels like Image is doing a lot of anthologies right now. We've got Old Guard, we've got Haha, we've got Silver Coin. Ice Cream Man, would we
Yeah.
count that? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
the same, you
it's the
know,
same.
same Prince, W. Maxwell Prince.
I am on record of saying Haha number 3. No, is this? No, this is 5. I'm sorry. This is Haha 5. I'm on record of saying Haha 4. I absolutely hated. I still don't know what
Which
the
one
hell
was Haha 4? Oh my god, I loved that
Haha
one, but it
4
was so
was
weird.
the balloon and the weird clown. I did
It
not
was
like
so
that one.
good.
Hated
I
it.
loved it. I loved it.
I still think, and I'm the minority, Haha 3 is the best. I don't
That's the
care.
one with the mime.
That's the one with the mime and no dialogue, and y'all can fight me. Listen, my dumb baby brain
Go with the first
likes
one.
the simple gay love story, and that's it. I liked this one better. I don't think I like, so Haha number 3's up here, and then we got Haha 1 and 2 right here. I think Haha 5 might be right underneath of them, with Haha 3 or 4 all the way at the bottom. We saw with this one, and I don't, maybe I wanted more from a grandma clown. I don't know. I saw the grandma clown. I was like, oh, it's a grandma.
Is be depressing.
I wanted it to be a little darker. It was depressing, but I wanted it to be a little darker. So in this one, it's basically an old lady clown that hates technology, hates people, hates the life she lives in. And I'm like, okay, I resonate with that. Like, she's complaining about the cost of groceries. She's complaining about her neighbor being nice. I'm like, okay, I get this, but I wanted her to go a little bit farther with it, because we only see it happen a couple times. And I'm like, no, if you're going to be the evil, angsty grandma, I want you to commit all the way through. But it also tells the story of this group of kids, and it starts to focus less on angsty grandma and starts to focus more on the kids, who are just like these troublemakers, and they've got all these personalities. And for a second, I was like, am I reading this didn't feel like an anthology issue. It felt like a first issue of a book. It felt like it was setting up for something. And it just kept going. And it turns out that this group of people, the kid had to break into her house and steal something creepy. And he does, and he passes out. And then they have this conversation where she's like, I'm just a sad old lady, and maybe sometimes I should be happy. And I'm like, no, I need you to commit to the mean grandma aesthetic all the way.
I'm choosing violence once again.
Oh, here she goes.
So I really liked this issue, but this grandma is so miserable. Like, literally from the beginning, this grandma is so miserable. Like, in the grocery store, kids these days can't do this, and the world
My
today,
shitty neighbors.
can you believe it? Like, good fences make good neighbors. And so I'm just going to go ahead and say at the end of this book, like, because everything that you said, like, the story ends up being about this kid who is part of this group, like, that they pull shenanigans, and he has to go pull a shenanigan on her. And so then when he gets here, he does have this, like, really heartwarming moment with her, and apparently her, like, cauliflower casserole is just bomb AF, and she makes it. And she's kind of like reminiscing about her time as a clown. Can't remember her clown name. Foolish something or other. So at the end, anyway, she has this heartwarming moment as the boy breaks into her house, kind of reveals that he needs to steal something from her to be part of this, like, shenanigan club. And she's like, okay, kid, like, come on, sit down, like, have some fucking casserole with me. Okay, here's something that you can steal from me. And so he does it, he leaves, and there's kind of a heartwarming moment, but then she just, like, sits there at the table, miserable and alone. And I'm like, old lady, you are miserable and alone for a reason. Just fucking die miserable and alone. That's how I felt. I was like, fuck you, old lady.
God, no.
I hated this old lady so much.
No.
I love this story, and I think that it's good whenever you can, like, I say resonate with the character that way, like when you resonate maybe even like negatively to a character. But 100% I'm like, screw you, old lady, and your cauliflower casserole. Die alone.
Maybe it was just the opposite because I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to become in 10 years. Some shitty child, or 10 years. I'm not going to be grandma in 10 years, maybe in like 100 years. But some shitty kid's going to come in and try to steal my cool comic collectibles and be like, fuck off. Here's some french fries. Get out of my house.
Here's some french fries.
Me and the old lady are the same person.
Ooh. So I'm just like, die alone. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. BJ wants to know, how many comics can I read in a day?
Too many.
Too many, is the answer. What I would say is that I pushed myself last July. It's coming up on a year, but last July I did a month where I read 100 comics in 1 month. And that was
not just 100 comics, 100 graphic novels.
100 graphic novels. So like 100 graphic novels. So 400 to 600 in a month. So I don't know, but that was a lot. That was really pushing it. I would say I can read probably like comfortably, maybe like 10 to 15 to 20.
Singles or graphic novels?
Single
Okay.
issues. Yeah, comfortably.
That's still too much.
It kind of is. But I find that because like this week and last week is proving it, my stacks were very large and I had a hard time getting through them. So I feel like I do the best when I read my comics all on Wednesday. So the weeks where I end up getting through like all 20 on Wednesday night are good. I can't do that since I work later and I don't have Wednesday off. But so anyways, how about you? How many do you think that you can?
I'm lucky if I can get through like 8 in a single sitting, and then maybe like one. Like my limit is like 2 graphic novels a day if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because, when you work a 9 to 5 and you come home and your brain is mush, it's a little hard to focus on anything else.
For sure. But that's why we're here. We do it. We do this so you don't have to. We read 20. I mean, I know that I read like 20 something a week, it feels like. So then you don't have to, but you still can if you really want to. One of the books that I really enjoyed this week, but I still don't know exactly how I feel about it. I don't know if you picked up this Image book, but Made in Korea.
I literally held it up. We got the same brain cell.
We got the same brain cell. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it. It is basically, I feel like doing this like Blade Runner thing where these kids are literally like made in Korea and they are being shipped over to the US to US families. And I feel like it's going to do this thing where they end up being evil. And part of me just, I don't know whether that was intentional, but it feels like kind of racist. Does that make sense?
A little bit. I don't think I took it.
I'm sorry.
I don't think I took it as that because when we look at the other child, he's obviously just a generic white boy. So I didn't take it as that. I did have my own issues with this book. It was too fast. It didn't set up the background enough. Because like you had said, the premise of the book is, robot children and people buy the children, and a lot of it is what I'm assuming for these families that can't have children, which makes sense. And we follow this couple that, goes to a birthday party, baby shower, whatever you want to call it, because the couple has received one of these children. And then literally they decide within a page, we're going to get one. Okay, but why? If you're my main characters, what is your reasoning? Have you been trying to have a child and have failed? Is one of you unable to have a child? It just feels like overnight they decided, okay, we're going to get a kid. Sorry, there's a lot more thought process in deciding that you need a kid I like the concept of it though, because it feels like there could be some horrific shit going on. There's one panel in particular where he walks in to pick out a body, and I'm like, this is
It feels so
terrifying.
creepy.
It was terrifying, and I did not like it. I mean, I did like it, but I did not like it.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a book that I would read in trade, maybe not necessarily in single issues, but maybe in trade when it comes out.
That's fair.
However, and this is why I was reaching, I feel like I've already read this book.
I feel like if
this book already exists, and it's also published by Image, and it is called Alex and Aydah.
I haven't read that one.
So Alex and Aydah follows a very similar premise where, you know, there are these robots and they exist, and you can buy a robot to be basically like a lover, for lack of a better word. And it's about this boy who ends up getting one because his grandma or his great aunt or somebody buys him one. It's very awkward, but then it turns into this very hopeful love story because these robots aren't supposed to be sentient, and they're supposed to have restrictions. They're only supposed to act as like personal assistants, and yet he ends up falling in love with her. And it's this whole story where, you know, there are people that have fallen in love with these robots, but they can't love them and things like that. And the whole time I was reading this, I'm like, I've already read this book, even down so far to like the Asian appearances. Because in Alex and Aydah, a lot of, the main characters come off as an Asian background or Asian descent. And I'm like, I've definitely read this book before, you know? So if you haven't read Alex and Aydah, I definitely recommend picking it up. It is only 3 volumes. And I became obsessed with this when I was reading this, and I immediately bought all the books. But I think that this was the better of the 2. I know it's only been 1 issue, but I already think that this is better of the 2. And it just disappoints me because it felt like for the past 3 weeks, so many creators were hyping this book up. You know, you had Kelly Sue DeConnick herself who was like, this is the best book of the year. And I read this. And there's another book that came out this week that, while I don't think it was book of the year, I think it was infinitely better than this book. So what are we thinking about, y'all? Because this book was not very, very good. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
I haven't seen any like hype around the book. I haven't seen any type of like, oh, this is my favorite book of the week. I mean, I didn't see Kelly Sue DeConnick tweet that out, or else I would have been like, I don't know. That's so strange to me. To me, like this gave me like Blade Runner Westworld type vibes.
Okay.
But that being said, I've only read the first one. I haven't read the rest, and I also haven't read Alex and Aydah, or at least if I did, it was way, way long ago. So I feel like I want to go back and I want to try to read Alex and Aydah, but maybe just the first issue and see how they compare. Once again, I don't know if this will be something that I keep picking up single issue by single issue. I'll probably wait for the trade, especially if Image does their $9.99 wrapped up first volumes of trades. They've kind of been doing it with some, not all of them.
I don't think they will for this because I believe that this is only a 5-issue miniseries.
So they'll probably do like $16.99.
Yeah, it'll probably be a $16 book, which still isn't terrible.
So another independent book that I ended up buying this week, and it's a Vault Comics book. It's a #1. I don't know if did you get a chance to read Blue Flame?
I did.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say I didn't love this book. I feel like I got where it was going. Are you choosing violence?
I'm choosing violence.
Okay. I did not.
You can continue.
I didn't love this book, and I think the reason why is because I've been getting a lot of the superhero, but here's the twist type of vibe, because I feel like I've gotten Commanders in Crisis, Project Patron by Aftershock. Man, I just feel like, and I mean, of course, like Black Hammer, but that's in its own cosmic world. I love Black Hammer so much. But I just felt like this book didn't push it for me the way that I needed it to, even though it was interesting and I liked where it started and ended, but I'm probably going to pick this up in trade, but I really need to know what you thought about this.
Okay. So remember when I was like, there's a book that was infinitely better than Made in Korea? It was Blue Flame. That being said, okay, let me premise it. Here we go. Let me premise. So I'm not going to pick this up single issue to single issue. This is definitely going to be a trade pickup for me. However, I was not excited for this book at all. I picked it up out of obligation to Volt because I pick up everything that they publish. Wanted to give it a shot. Went into this book and being like, I'm gonna fucking hate it. I'm gonna hate this book. I actually kind of enjoyed this book. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see where it goes and how they twist it, because here's the thing. When I read this, it reminded me of two very different things, and I thought it was very interesting. It reminded me of Strange Adventures mixed with Kick-Ass.
Oh.
Maybe with a little razzle-dazzle of Watchmen, but not nearly as dark and gritty.
Yeah, it definitely gave me Watchmen vibes, like a PG version of Watchmen.
A PG version, a PG version of Watchmen. I really like the idea that there is all of these characters and this group of people that they go out and they, you know, are their own superheroes, and they call themselves the Night Brigade. And they have powers, but they don't have powers. And I feel like they all have clashing personalities. And it's the way that this book begins and the way that this book ends itself. I think the pacing in this book is very, very interesting, because it starts off with, you're in space. This man is saying that he is the space ranger, you know, kind of Green Lantern-esque, for lack of a better word.
Ooh, see, I got Silver Surfer vibes.
Silver Surfer vibes, okay. Silver Surfer, Green Lantern vibes. He ends up on this planet. You're being charged with murder trial. Okay, that's where the Strange Adventures vibes come in. And I'm like, okay, if the book had kept going like that, I would have been like, okay, I'm bored now. But then it snaps on you, and it takes you into the modern, everyday kind of street level hero vibe, where, you know, we're introduced to our main character as a boiler mechanic. He runs with all of this other group of people, the Night Brigade. They're talking about how, oh, cool, I've got an action figure on Instagram. Like, people love them. And then the way that this book ends in such a twist, it was kind of bizarre, and it makes me wonder if that's how weird, and when I say weird, it's weird in an interesting and engaging way. If your pacing is so weird in your first issue, how is the rest of the book going to go? And it makes me excited to see how that is. I don't know. Maybe it's because my expectations were set so low that when it hit it out of the park, I was like, wow, this is pretty good. It definitely was, I think, one of the better things that I read this week, because I did read a couple stinkers.
Maybe that was it, because I know that I just said that I'm probably going to wait for the trade on this one. Your review of it may make me want to go back and read the first issue and maybe pick up the second. I'll let my week decide. Like, you know, whenever the issue number 2 comes out, what that week looks like, and we'll see if I end up picking it up. But I just feel like I've gotten so much of that. Like I said, it's superheroes, but with a twist. And I don't know. I feel like, and like Radiant Black, I feel like, I don't know. I've just been getting a lot of those. But it definitely had its own thing going. I'm going to have to shelve that one. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm definitely going to have to think about it. There was another book by Volt that came out this week. I didn't read it though, so no spoilers.
Okay, light spoilers. I didn't really like this one. I think the art dropped off a lot compared to the first 2 issues. Wow. I'm very surprised at that. This one wasn't nearly as funny as the first 2 issues. There were a couple scenes that were really funny, but it wasn't really until the end. Most of it, you get just a lot of build up. And like I said, maybe I was focused on the art, but I don't know. I still love this book though. I love Yana. I love how quirky she is. You know, I love the character introductions in this. I will say the character introduction on the last page was very cute and very snazzy, and I love that. I like how this book just kind of knows and is self-aware that it is this quirky, fun, hip millennial book. I know I'm using that term a lot this week, but it's very self-aware that it's not trying to be serious and that it's just trying to have fun. And I do appreciate that a whole lot.
I know last issue we got some Alan Jackson playing in this. I truly feel like this book screams Orville Peck to me. Okay. Do you know who Orville Peck is?
Yes, I know who Orville Peck is. Okay. I actually was going to say the final character on, like, the reveal for the character in the last page reminded me of Lil Nas X.
Lil Nas X, yeah.
I was like, this is Lil Nas X. I love this.
I don't want to like spoil too much for everyone, but just so you know, like basically
it's Lil Nas X.
Yeah, Lil Nas X riding in on a horse. Okay, so I could see like Orville Peck, Lil Nas X playing in the background while reading this.
There you go. There you go.
Did you read any other books that you got this week?
I have a couple more books. You know what? I'm just gonna choose violence. Fuck it. I'm gonna choose violence.
Choose violence. I'm always like, what violence are we choosing?
I'm gonna choose violence.
What is that book? I can't really see.
It's Darth Vader number.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Number 12.
That's not a book that I'm like at any.
No, it's not. So yeah. I'm just gonna rant.
Please,
fuck.
Go for it.
I loved this book. Okay, this book was my favorite fucking book of last year. I fucking loved every fucking issue. It was so great. What the fuck has happened? I know what has happened. They're fucking tying it into a shitty ass fucking event. Listen, I get enough fucking events for Marvel and DC. And granted, I understand this does say Marvel Comics. It does say Marvel Comics on here.
Mm-hmm.
Do not fucking do events in Star Wars. I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up and leave me alone. I don't want events in Star Wars. This issue literally meant nothing. There was no plot. It started off with a plot. It kind of finalized the plot of what we've been doing with this last arc for the first like 2 pages. And then it just went into a bunch of really shitty flashbacks from the old movies. And granted, that has been happening a lot in this title. But it happened in those emotional moments when Darth Vader is conflicted with how he feels. So he thinks about Padme, and we get those really cool throwback scenes. And I love that. This, it's just like, Han Solo shot me, and I'm mad. And I'm like, what the fuck? Not only that, but the artwork in this book, don't know what the fuck happened. The art in this book is ugly as shit.
Show me the ugliest panel.
Oh, I know exactly which one. Where is it at? There it is. Look at this.
I love
the ugliest.
Go ahead and...
What the fuck?
What is that face?
What is that? Please, Marvel, help me. Not only that, but please keep me full screened, because in this book, they introduce a new Hutt character, a new Jabba the Hutt character, if you will. So a new giant slug. Why does he have abs, Jen? Why does a slug have abs? Help me. Why? He's swole as shit, and he's a slug. Well, Marvel, please explain. Greg Pak, explain. Villanova, whoever's illustrating this book. Why does this man? I want this. Listen, this book. I'm speculating. This book is a spec book right now because it introduces the Swole Hutt.
It only took us just over an hour. We finally got to the speculation.
This is the spec book, okay? This book is going to spike to $300 so I can get rid of it because Swole the Hutt. Swola the Hutt. That is his new name. Swola the Hutt. It's first appearance of Swola the Hutt. And you want this book.
I just imagine that, like, that character's like, my name's Swola the Hutt, and I'm here to fuck. Like, that's just what I imagine. Sorry.
I can't right now.
What if they show that he's got, like, a big, thick, juicy booty? Like, thick with 2 C's.
I hate that. Do slugs have booties? I don't think slugs have booties, because at that point it's like, where does the booty start and where does it end?
Can everyone in the chat please answer our questions?
Do slugs have butts?
Do slugs have butts?
They
have abs. I never thought they had abs, and apparently they do. So they probably have booties.
But that whole book, I was like, this is awful. This is the worst, like, Star Wars book I think I've read in a while, and I'm so bored. And then it's literally the second to last page is that reveal. And I'm like, this book is either infinitely worse or infinitely better, and I can't figure it out. And Swola the Hutt is real, y'all. I'm just saying.
Swola the butt.
Swola the butt. Swallow the butt Hutt.
I just want to see that slug's butt. Give it to us, Marvel.
I hate it. Anyway, but yeah, it was my favorite book, and I was already on the fence about dropping Darth Vader because it started to kind of slack off in the past couple issues. I might have to jump off of it for the event, but I don't know if I'll pick it back up. I'm very upset. It's so stupid. I'm tired of events. Stop shoving them into Star Wars. Let me just enjoy a book. Simple as that. Just let me enjoy my Star Wars book, okay?
Can I just say, I love that, like, this is literally like your favorite book of the week, and you've like torn it apart. But you're like, it was my favorite book of the week, but you literally
It's
were
my
like,
favorite just for Swallow the Hut. That's it.
Swallow the Hut.
I
Would
hated
it
this book.
really, you mentioned like, I just can't wait for this book to be $300 so then I can sell it. Would it really take it to go up to 300, or like, do you have like, would it get to 100 and it'd be like,
Oh no, if somebody wants to give me cover price for this book right now, listen, it is yours. Swallow the Hut first appearance can be yours for only $3.99 plus shipping. DM for details.
I would say let's start a bidding war in the chat for Swallow the Hut first appearance. Total spec book.
It's so stupid. And there's another book that did that this week that I'm so fucking upset about, but we'll talk about that. Did you read any other great books from Marvel? Because I have one other book from Marvel.
Oh yeah. This is not the oh yeah book that I was talking about, but Beta Ray Bill 3, his ship turns into a lady. And so really quick, the whole premise of this Beta Ray Bill by Daniel Warren Johnson is that Lady Sif won't fuck Beta Ray Bill because he's a horse monster cyborg, and so he's stuck in that form. So Lady Sif won't fuck him, so he's on a quest to unhorse himself so he can get laid by Lady Sif.
As you do. I mean, total
as
reasoning
one does.
right there.
I mean, same. But in this book, I mean, at the end of last book, kind of spoiler alert, his ship turns into a lady. Or sorry, yeah. So anyways, his ship is now like a robot lady, and I'm pretty sure by the end, I think it's going to be what, issue 5 or issue 6. It's a limited issue run. I'm pretty sure by the end of the series, he's going to bang that ship.
Nice. Good for you, Beta Ray Bill.
Good for you, Beta Ray
Good
Bill.
for you.
As someone who would just 10 out of 10 would smash Beta Ray Bill as is, like, you don't need to, like, I don't know, you don't need to change back Beta Ray Bill.
Do you think that Beta Ray Bill at the end of the series, when he becomes, if and when he becomes, I'm assuming, human again? Yeah. Is he going to become human? Do you think he's going to have like a big reveal like in Beauty and the Beast where it's just like the cloak falls off?
I think it's going to be like...
He just kind of stands there like a deer in headlights and is like...
I think it's going to be more... I think it's going to be Shrek.
Where
he just...
You either become a Shrek or a Prince Adam. There is no in between.
You live long enough to see yourself become a Shrek, or you die I don't know, it's one of the two. So if you liked fine films such as Shrek 1, 2, and 3, Electric Boogaloo or whatever, Beta Ray Bill is the story for you.
We are now comparing Beta Ray Bill to Shrek 2. Our show has peaked, y'all. It has fucking peaked.
It peaked when the philosophical question of do slugs have butts, when that question was asked, and we talked about Swallow the Hut. That's the moment that the show peaked. So only slightly, on the other side of the mountaintop, but Beta Ray Bill, if you like Shrek, this is actually really good. I really enjoy.
I'm excited to read that one. I'm waiting for that one to come to trade because I missed out on it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, literally, you pitching the book as Beta Ray Bill fuck Sif, wants to continue to fuck Sif, but needs to change into human. That is the elevator pitch. Listen, that is the pitch.
Whatever any other pitch anyone is giving you, they're trying to sell you something. I'm giving it to you as is, folks.
The hard facts.
And Remy Q, thank you so much for being here, and obviously being here for the peak of the show where we talk about slug butts.
And monster fucking.
Monster fucking, and, so thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone else who's just the 24 people who just continue to hang out with our shenanigans. I do also want to say hello to Rob. Thank you so much for being here. Another one of my favorite people in the community. So thank you. Thank you so much. Swallow the Hut. Whew. And then, of course, man, so many people are just popping in when we're just like, slug butts.
We're peak trash.
Beta Ray Bill is basically Shrek. So, thank you so much for being here. You truly did jump on at the right time. We'll try to maybe see if we can get another peak going here. I do have a lot of thoughts about there's a couple other books that I have here. But
True.
you had another Marvel book, right?
The other Marvel book I had is Black Widow #7. Sorry, spec guys, this book did not jump $1 million like y'all thought it would. Because as we saw last month, Black Widow #6 jumped to like $15 within a day, and I had to fight my local shop just to give me a copy because it's been on my pull list. I still like this book. I do. I love this book. Elena Casagrande's art is my favorite. It's so fluid, so stylistic. I love when comics use flat colors. I feel like we don't see that a lot anymore.
I feel like Joelle Jones's like that artwork looks so good with those like flat colors. Yeah.
Flat colors, and then you kind of got this weird awkward texture to it. We continue to see Natasha and Yelena, and they have now taken a new character under their wing, and are kind of training her and making sure that she is equipped to survive. I don't know. There's some really interesting conflict between Yelena and Natasha because, Red Room situation stuff. But the one thing I did not expect in this book was a surprise appearance from Anya, aka Spider-Girl. And I feel like this is the first time I've ever read a book that has her in it. And she is delightful. She is just she's only in it for about a page or two, but she's delightful. She's very quirky, very fun. 10 out of 10 if they made a book with her, possibly also written by, Kelly Thompson, because at this point, Kelly Thompson should just write every Marvel book, I'm convinced. I would really enjoy it.
And sorry, so I know that I thought that I picked up Black Widow. Let me just double check. Why do I not have that like right here? Okay, so let me see here. What page does she show up on?
So she doesn't even show up in costume. So she shows up. It's a pink page. It's about halfway through where Natasha's sitting there with a coffee cup, and you see a very crazy lady going, "Yes, that's supposed to be Anya, I guess." She's literally in it for 2 pages.
Okay.
But she's precious, and I think I love her.
Oh, okay. I feel like Marvel like does do that with a lot of the characters. Like I know with like Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, like there's a lot of team ups going on there, and like Spider-Woman's there, so I like those appearances, but I haven't read this one yet, so I just kind of got like I'm gonna have to read this one. This may end up like right above or right underneath Stray Dogs. I'm gonna go. I don't know if I talked about it. I don't know if you read it, but Something is Killing the Children.
I dropped it off my pull list finally because I had stopped reading it at issue 6, but was collecting up until issue 15. And finally, when they went on hiatus, I was like, I think I should just drop it and continue to read by the trade.
I'm not necessarily saying that's like. I get why you did that because I feel like especially with that like second arc, there were moments where it was a little bit slow. The last issue, if I recall, like basically Erica just kind of like, I mean, spoiler alert, like Erica kind of like walks away from everything. And in this issue, number 16, we get her origin story. So it was a really good issue. It's one of my favorite issues so far. I don't know I obviously don't know what the next issue is going to be, whether it's going to end up being like, okay, we're going to do a whole arc of her backstory, or if it's going to end up being like, if it's going to like go back and forth between time jumps. Maybe they're taking something out of Tom King's book, have no clue, but I'm still really enjoying this, so.
I need to catch up desperately because, like I said, I've only ever read the first arc either. Like I've been meaning to pick up the trade for the second one, and eventually I will do that, but I am slow.
Slug butt with a fart saying howdy could be a trademark shirt. We've got stuff in the works. Very nice. Let me go ahead and see here. I bought the Black Widow trade and just waiting for it.
It's so good.
Mail, yeah.
You're gonna love it. It's so good.
And then hello to Sith Lordy. Hello. It is also morning here in Portland. So it's 10:30. So I still got a lot of my day ahead of me.
Did you get a chance to read Nuclear Family number 4?
I haven't. Nope.
I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know how I'm feeling. Part of me is starting to feel like this book might be getting a little juvenile for me.
Really?
Feels like it's starting to get a little juvenile. I think that I don't know if this is supposed to be an extended long series, or if it's supposed to be a mini series and we'll stop at issue like 6 or 7.
But it's Aftershock, so I feel like they've been doing like one and done trades, right?
They have been. So I'm not sure because I haven't really been able to see anything. So if this does continue, I'm going to continue through it because I'm already on issue 4. Might as well keep going at this point. But I think if it continues to go any longer after first arc, I will be dropping it off my pool list. Because like I said, I like the concept of it. But I'm also feeling like A, it's a little bit juvenile, and B, it's starting to feel really, really drawn out. Like I'm feeling that everything that we have seen so far, we could have seen in like 2.5 issues.
Especially considering that the first couple of issues were very much like, okay, we meet this family. Okay, all of a sudden a nuclear bomb drops. Okay, now they're being like a little bit of a spoiler, like now they're being, the government's coming in and accusing them of being communist, and then there's a time jump, and then are we living in a post-apocalyptic world?
Is it a parallel universe?
Yeah. So I'm really curious. I think that sometimes that issue 4 will do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if issue 5 just like smashes it. I really like the series, but that being said, I haven't read issue 4 yet. So after reading it, I could change my mind a little bit.
Very possible.
Do you have any other books or?
The only other 2 books that I have are DC books that I have lots of thoughts on.
Hey, Robbie. You have okay, so I got 2 DC books. I'm gonna save my favorite book of the week for last, because I'm gonna go on a bit of a ramble about it.
Okay.
But I have 2 DC books. Maybe.
What do you have?
I have Mr. Miracle.
Okay.
Did you pick this one up?
I did not. Didn't even realize that came out. My shop didn't have it, so I guess I'm gonna trade read it. What are your thoughts? Is there a big Barda? Is there a big Barda?
Oh man, I don't know if I want to spoil it for you.
Tell me. I need to know.
Big Barda is not shown in this. Big Barda is mentioned in it. So someone else has taken over the mantle of Mr. Miracle. I can't even remember his name off the top of my head, but he's basically doing a stunt where he is being like dropped from like the space atmosphere, whatever, gets out of it. So it's pretty interesting. But the person who is Mr. Miracle now is Black, so I think that it's having a really interesting conversation with that, and it's kind of cute because he like wants to date someone, but he needs her to sign like a non-disclosure agreement, and so there's like a little cute thing with that. And I think that there's been a lot of books lately that have been trying to take on current relevant social issues, and most of them, 90% of them, have failed, and this one's really, really doing it. I will also say, so I picked up this one, and it's Milestone Returns.
Mm-hmm.
This was also super fantastic, getting Static Shock again, and I feel like these 2 books could go hand in hand with the conversations that they're having, and if you like one, you should get the other. Please get both because they were both really, really good. I really enjoyed them a lot. So, and whatever rant I was going on.
And whatever rant you were going on.
Yeah, not that that was much of a rant, but oh, hello. One of our favorite people is in the chat now. Sheena, hello. So good to see you.
Okay, so rant time. All right, let's start. Whew. Okay. Teen Titans Academy number 3. I loved issue 1. I loved issue 2. Issue 3 is pissing me off, and here's why. Because we're tying it into a fucking event. Maybe not necessarily an event. Maybe not necessarily it's like an unspoken event. But Suicide Squad are now involved. Guess what? I'm not reading Suicide Squad right now because I'm reading Suicide Squad by trade. I don't know what's going on. And I hate listen, I hate it. I hate it when I'm reading something. Listen, hear me out. I hate it when I'm reading something I'm kind of enjoying it. Or it's a series that I've been really, really enjoying. And all of a sudden, something is said, and I'm like, well, I don't really understand why that is. And then I see a fucking asterisk, and it says in a little box, go and read Suicide Squad number 3. Bitch, yeah. Listen, I'm not going to read Suicide Squad number 3 just because you told me to. I will read it because I want to read it, and I will read it on my own time and on my own terms. It makes me upset. I absolutely love the series. I thought that this series felt like a very fun, rejuvenated, what I've always wanted from DC Comics. Kind of has X-Men vibes to it, but for DC fans. So for us that don't get to experience fun X-Men stuff all the time like you guys do, it was a nice change of pace and palate cleanser. Now it's turning into your standard, stereotypical, boring-ass DC book, and I am getting upsetty spaghetti about it.
Aww,
give me back my
spaghetti.
Give me back my fun. I don't know if it's a combination of the Suicide Squad being thrown into it and Red X being jammed down my throat. I did notice that this featured a lot less of the Titans. So in issues 1 and 2, I feel like we got that perfect balance of like the new cast of Titans who they are teaching, and then the mentors. So like Nightwing and Starfire and Raven and that cast of characters we're used to. And it was a nice balance, and there was a nice little, conversation between these two generations, if you will. Now it feels like we're just going to characters that I really don't care about. Plus, this also felt more of a Suicide Squad title than the Teen Titans title. Not only that, but this book sets up for Crush and Lobo, the new series.
Which comes out next week.
Which starts next week. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that if you did it for like a page or a panel. But it happened in multiple pages where it felt like this issue was a prelude issue to Crush and Lobo. Listen,
okay. Do I need to read that one to read Crush and Lobo? Because I
don't think so. I don't think so. I'm hoping not, because if so, that will just piss me off further. But it's the idea that, we have this book with this plot, and the plot was simple. It's Red X is terrorizing Teen Titans Academy. Who is the Red X? And it was like this witch hunt.
Did we find out who Red X is?
We're never going to find out who Red X is, but we're here for the adventure, not for the destination, okay? And this book started off with that conversation of who's Red X. It's going to be a Scooby-Doo witch hunt of who is the Red X. And it...
Oh, old man.
Oh, old man. And it veered from that. And like I said, it just turned into a stereotypical DC book right in the middle of an arc. So I'm going to keep it going. I'm hoping with issue 4, they pick it back up and they're like, okay, there's your little interlude issue, but it pissed me off because I liked Teen Titans Academy 1, but I didn't add it to my pool list. So I read Teen Titans Academy 2 on a whim while in the shop, and I had some time, decided, oh shit, I really like this. Let me add it to my pool. Do not make me disappoint or regret my decisions, DC. I've been rooting for you. Right now, I feel like the Tara Banks gif where she's like, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. That's me right now in DC Comics. Do not disappoint me, okay? Anyway, that's it.
I love that so much. Oh, hey, gang.
Hey, gang.
Thanks for being here, friend. Man, I don't know. That book was probably going to be on the bottom of my pile anyway. But now I'm just even like, do I want to read it now? I don't know.
Spaghetti.
I do also want to say hello to C-List E-Man. Thank you so much for being here. Another one of our friends in the community. You mentioned being late. You did miss some fantastic subjects. Like,
we talked about slug butts.
Do slugs have butts? Should they have abs? Apparently they do, but should they have abs? And we also talked about, what else did we talk about? There was something else.
Greg says I'm disappointing and letting him down, and it just hurts me inside. I want Greg on the show one day. I want Greg on the show. We can just argue and talk about Yara Floor, which we will be doing this week, buddy, right? I think. Yes, maybe so. You might just hate me now. It's fine. It's fine. I can be president of the Yara fan club all by myself. JK. I like having you as my partner. It's great. So you said you have one DC book left, right?
I have one book total left. It's a Marvel
I
book.
also have one book total left.
Okay.
But you said you want to rant. When do you
I
want to
do.
rant?
Whenever.
Because I also have a rant. Well, it's not really a rant. It's just
You
it's
go
good
first.
ranting. Okay. So this is Robin number 2.
Okay.
And I love that. This is Robin number 2. And I like this book. I didn't like this issue as much as number 1, but I like this book. Makes me really happy to see Connor Hawke. Listen, I'm biased.
Yeah.
I get to see Connor Hawke again, but I do enjoy the book. We continue to see Damian kind of enter into this tournament. We learn that on this island you can kill people up to 3 times before you die for good.
Okay.
Which
Got that little, like, shtick there.
which I'm like, okay,
it.
cool for rules or whatnot, but it's just Damian being a little sassy a-hole. We get to probably, I think next issue is when Connor Hawke is really, really going to come into it. Basically everything I liked about issue 1 carried forward, you know.
Okay.
We got Robin being a little shit. We got this cute new little character Flatline, who pretty sure, spoiler alert, they're going to become girlfriend, boyfriend at one point, or at least I think it would be really, really cute. The manga panels make a return, which I thought we were going to get as like a gimmick in issue 1, but it continued. But I think my favorite thing about this issue, or about the series maybe, I mean, other than Connor Hawke, of course, because I'm biased, this is secretly a Ravager book as well. And I did not expect that. Like, Rose Wilson, facts. Yeah, you're right there. This is kind of like Mortal Kombat. It's like PG-13 Mortal Kombat. So every Mortal Kombat movie we've gotten before HBO. But we get to see a lot of Rose Wilson in this book, and she is one of my favorite characters. And I feel like not a lot of people realize that Rose is in this book as much as she is. Like, she's actually a key player. So if you're like me and you like Rose Wilson, I definitely recommend picking up this book because, you know, her and Damian together, they're both angsty little shits, but she's maybe a little bit more.
They deserve each other.
I mean, there's definitely the age thing. I don't think there's going to be any sort of, you know, romantic stuff there because she's definitely older than he is. She might be an adult. I don't know. But their relationship, platonic or otherwise, is very, very nice to see. And I don't know. I love Rose Wilson. Give her a solo, y'all. Give me a solo Rose Wilson book. I need another one. But Robin is a great book. It's one of those books where it's like, I'm going to pick this up just for Connor. And then it's like, no, I'm actually kind of really enjoying this Bat book, you know?
Mm-hmm. I do just want to say, so I haven't read it. I'm like nodding along as if I have actually read it. I have not read this book yet. One thing that I'm really impressed by, though, is that the cover art is the same as the interior art. Like, I feel like it actually, like, it
DC's been doing that a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
Because Nightwing is like that. Wonder Woman is like that right now. I think Batman is like that.
I wouldn't know about.
Or not Batman, Detective Comics. I think Detective Comics has covers by Dan Mora right now. But yeah, no, I agree where it feels like a lot of the main covers are done by the main artist. And then the variants are the ones that are, you know, special and nice and extra money. And I don't like that, but whatever.
Yeah. Absolute cover matching. Inside art is the best. Especially whenever you get a book. I hate it whenever it like vastly varies.
Crimson Flower.
Oh, I was gonna say Cult of Dracula comes to mind. The covers were so good.
I hate that book.
The covers were so good, and the interior artwork was not great. I mean, granted, the story, okay. But I do want to talk about my favorite book of the week. Greg said that he was excited for this rant. He pretty much like heard it already on Comic Talk Live. But listen, X-Men 20 is so freaking good. It, like, to me, this picks up kind of where some things left off in House of X, Powers of X. And basically, like, this whole system is about to go online, and so if you don't know, in this universe on Krakoa, or in this timeline, whatever, Krakoa can bring mutants back to life. Some mutants, not all of them. However, sometimes it can happen, sometimes it can't. But um, in order, so we've got, I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. So we've got Mystique here, who is basically like, I'm going to go and I'm going to do Charles and Magneto's bidding. I am going to go and I'm going to try to destroy the shit out of this thing that's about to happen, that's going to like start all of these cataclysmic events. And she's like, but I'm going to do this under one circumstance. I need you to bring back my dead wife. And she goes to an ex of hers, Forge, and is basically like, yeah, you know how you are really good at like building weapons? I need you to build like the worst weapon you've ever built. Like, and he's like, okay, like, so bad. And she's like, no, like the worst weapon you've ever made, ever. And man, I am just ready for Mystique to murder everybody. I want Mystique to.
It's a revenge love story.
Yes. And I'm so here for it. X-Men 20, hands down, my favorite book of this week. So good.
That's exciting.
I
She
know
deserves it.
That wasn't as much of a rant as I thought it was going to be. But seriously, everyone, if you even think you like X-Men, please read House of X, Powers of X. And I don't even care if you pick up on X-Men, just X-Men 20, just fucking pick up X-Men 20. It was so good. It's setting up for some really, really, really good stuff here. Please and thank you. That's it. Oh, I've got one more.
Uh-oh, she's got one more.
I didn't pick up a physical issue. I didn't pick up a physical copy. But pretend right here that you had Casual Fling issue number 4. I probably should have started with this.
I forgot that came out today or this week.
You
okay,
forgot.
I'm excited. Story time. Yay! It's the best part of the show, guys.
I was actually almost excited while reading it. So premise of Casual Fling, I thought it was going to be a good book, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to keep reading it for reading its sake, and just torture Mars on how like disastrous this book is. I didn't even finish it. There is something that is mentioned in the book, something that is done in the book that is a extreme trigger warning, and I'm not even gonna get into it. And something happens, and I did not finish it. I got about halfway through and couldn't do it. So if this was my copy of Casual Fling number 4, I would be like, fuck you. I ended up reading it digitally, so I may just tear my phone apart.
Don't do that.
I won't do that. But anyways, Casual Fling issue 4 can go fuck itself.
Is that the last issue?
That's the last issue. So I don't even know how it ends because I didn't finish it. Casual Fling issue 4, and that old lady from Ha 5 can go fuck themselves and die alone. So
that is violence. That is violent.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead, and that was all the stuff that I actually read. Did you read all your comics this week?
I did. Aside from Strange Adventures, which, as I said, I'm waiting, to binge everything. I read everything this week. Except for, Luna was last week, so it doesn't count. But I'm very proud of myself that I'm making it a mission, because I get very upset with myself when, I fall behind on books, because then I'm like, well, you dumb bitch, you could have just read the trade and not bought them and stored them. So I try to make it my mission that when I get a book, it is done before the next week shows up. So, yeah.
That's me. I'm going to quickly go through everything that I got this week that didn't read. So if you want to hold me accountable to what I didn't read next week and ask me, I will let you know. I'm going to go through it quickly. Bitterroot 13, which is a very great series. Destiny New York number 3, which is another pretty good series. I like Pat Shand. Dune number 7, haven't read that yet, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, that is very surprising.
I also picked up Reptile number 1 by Marvel, which looks like a really cute series. that was one of the only things that I picked up a variant cover for. Harley Quinn #3, great series, haven't read it. Department of Truth. This issue apparently broke Greg, Bearded Comic Bro, as well as Sammy. So they said that they are no longer picking up this issue anymore, or this series
Really?
anymore after this issue. So we'll see how that one goes. Helm Grey Castle #2 came out, which is basically Mayan D&D, which has been really fun. The first issue was really fun. Black Friday #2 finally came out.
Oh, that's
Basically,
right.
like attention Walmart shoppers, there is a portal to hell in your store. As someone who has been in retail for a very long time, I feel that. Crime Destroyer. I don't even remember ordering this book, but they're like, yeah, this came in. We're pretty sure it's you, Jennifer. So we'll find out. Two Moons #4, really good series. They Fell from the Sky. Why does this feel like it was last week? But I guess it was this week. Issue #4. Philadelphia #13, one of my favorite series. I love Rodney Barnes a lot. Apparently this gets really, really good. Shadow Doctor #4, another really good series by Aftershock. 25th. I know you didn't like the first issue, but I picked up issue #2. I will read it so you don't have to.
Bad book.
It's only 2 out of 3, so I figured that's not too much of an investment. We already talked about Teen Titans #3. I just haven't read it. Aliens, what is this, the 3rd issue? Yeah. 3.
Why?
I really don't know. Also, Heroes Reborn, Young Squadron. There's like a million of these, and I only picked up that one and Magneto and the Mutant Force. This War of the Bounty Hunters. This is Dr. Aphra. So I'm curious to see how this plays into whatever event is going on with the Star Wars stuff. Maybe there will be another slug.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe Swallow the Hut will pop up.
Maybe we'll find out if Swallow the Hut has a slug butt.
I hate this. Why does he exist?
No slug butts yet, folks.
I literally feel like those fucking things on the internet where they're like, Swallow the Hut can't hurt you. Swallow the Hut doesn't exist. He does exist.
No. I didn't see Swallow in there, but Swallow does exist.
It's sad.
I also did pick up Night Hunters #4. I missed issue 2 and 3 and picked those up a couple weeks ago, but just haven't gone back to them. So I can't wait to just read all of these. I loved issue 1 so much of that. Really appreciate Alexis Zirrit. I also picked up New Mutants #18, Vita Ayala. Did I finally pronounce their name right?
Vita Ayala?
Vita Ayala. Okay, Vita Ayala. I mostly just picked this one up because of the Chris Ward cover, because I love their artwork. I also got this variant cover for Witchblood.
Gorgeous.
And then what else did I get? This one, I have no clue what it is, but it looked really, really good. It's called Queen of Skulls.
Ooh.
And it's like a weird independent book. Very horror-like. The artwork reminded me of Francavilla, who does Sabrina.
Okay.
So really excited to get into this one. And then the other history of the DC universe, which has Renee Montoya as the question, and we will see if that question gets answered in this.
That question.
Those were like the single issues that I picked up. I picked up a couple graphic novels and a couple of zines. But something else that I picked up as well, I went to like this cute little vintage toy memorabilia store and ended up getting these Bernie Wrightson, Master of the Macabre.
Ooh.
So that was really cool. I literally went in and like, I was like, I kind of wanted to buy a botleth today. Do you happen to have a botleth in here? They put up with me just being kooky, and I can't wait to go back next Saturday and harass them for. They only had vintage comic or older comic books, so I need to go in there with like my back issue list. So if there's any back issues people think that I should find, like Silver Age, Golden Age stuff, let me know, because they got it.
They got it. So what
Okay.
graphic novels did you pick up? Do you have them with you?
Mm-hmm. It's only two. Um, I went to three comic book shops like two and a half when I went to yesterday, and I found this. It's Don't Go Without Me.
Mm-hmm.
And literally my partner picked this one up, and he's like, or were like, hey, I think that you should get this. And the first two lovers get separated on a night out and in a parallel dimension.
Hmm.
And I'm like, yes, the artwork is really pretty in this one too. I'm going to see if I can find a non-explicit page.
Ooh, it's a spicy book.
It looks kind of spicy. I think I just opened up to some nudity there, but looked really good. And then the other one that I got was Onion Skin.
Onion Skin?
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Rolando's job was crushing his soul, and then it crushed his hand. Now he can barely get out of the house, marathoning TV and struggling to find meaning. Nera is a restless spirit who loves to taste everything life can offer. When their paths cross at a raucous rock show, the magical night seems to last forever. It looks like it shows them, like, I don't know if they're like in a van going through the desert, but yeah. Looks kind of
Exciting
cute.
stuff.
And it was pretty simple, so I could probably take this with me on my way to the park. I also picked up some really cool, like, zine looking things, and then this one looked really good too.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Oh, that is nice.
Yeah. Okay. That was everything I picked up. Oh, I've got one other thing. Do you have anything else?
The only thing that I have that I wanted to talk about, so I don't want to say partnered, but they had sent me stuff last year during the pandemic. This is Messed from Creative Muscle Productions. It is the adventure of Lilliput, and there is a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous David Mack cover that they sent me. But Messed is a wonderful, like, kind of post-apocalyptic story where it's about I'm trying to think of what you would call her, but Lilliput basically goes down into the sewers and basically makes sure that the sewers are clean and that things are able to go the way that they should. However, you always run into weird monsters and mutations while in the sewers. And the creative team had sent me copies of their books last year for me to talk about, and I absolutely fell in love with them. So it was really awesome for them to think of me because this is what they deem as the third season of Messed, because they go by seasons. They don't necessarily go by issues, but it's still really, really cool. But it is just a really fun kind of like black and white horror-esque, body horror inspired thing. They've got this cool little language that they use on their own. You get all these cool case files. The characters are really, really cool. And it's just a really fun book. So their information is still on my Instagram, I believe. You can also find them on Instagram and on Twitter at Messed. But thank you so much, I guess, for sending me some really, really cool stuff that I didn't expect, because that's what this community is all about. Like sharing and caring and spreading, and word of mouth is the way that indie comics like these survive. So
yep.
Thank you guys so much.
Remind me again. Say again the company and the title and the creative team.
It is Creative Muscle Productions doing Messed with the creator Jay Callaghan. Again, I apologize if I mispronounce things. And an artist of Dylan Spieg. So again, thank you guys for not only creating wonderful stories, but sending me out some wonderful things as well.
Beautiful. I love that. There is one other thing that I picked up. I'm usually pretty hesitant on Instagram sales, buying books I'm just always worried about getting burned and like sending a complete stranger some money. However, someone who I've worked with before, um, I think that it's just pretty nerdy. They've got like this cute little sticker. I'll see if I can put that
Ooh,
there. And it says on here, ask me about my comics. So I thought that was really cute.
that is
Um,
cute.
so I got a couple of things sent by them. However, I finally picked up a book that I've been looking for, like in the wild for a really long time. But then they ended up having it for sale, and I just pulled the trigger, and it is X-Men 244, the first appearance of Jubilee.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
exciting.
So like I said, I've been looking for it in the wild, obviously because like any first appearance is just going absolutely through the roof. Um, I was like, I forget how much it was, but I'm like, you know what, just go ahead and pull the trigger. Um, and it's like a pretty great copy. I wouldn't mind getting it cleaned and pressed. I don't know about graded, but still wouldn't mind getting it cleaned and pressed.
That is exciting, especially
Yeah.
because Jube is one of your favorite characters, so it's always exciting.
So
It's always
underrated.
exciting to get those first appearances for characters that you really, really care about.
Yeah. So um seriously, the next first appearance, I just need to pull the trigger and get like a House of Mysteries 90 or House of Secrets 92. Um, but anything else that you're working on? Anything else that you want to because we're
Um,
just at 2 hours. So thank you for everyone who's being here.
and
What do
hanging
you
out with
have?
us.
What do you have going on?
Tomorrow, we talked about this a little bit. Tomorrow, me and Greg, aka Bearded Comic Bro, we are going to be filming something really, really awesome, dealing with our favorite lady in comics right now, Yara Floor. It's going to be a Yara Floor shenanigans spew. It's basically just going to be me and Greg screaming about how much we love Yara at this point, I believe. So that
I
should
would
be
watch literally on loop that
on
for
loop.
hours.
So that should be on Greg's channel. I believe he said sometime this week, depending on, if we're able to film stuff and things like that. And then tonight I am on Slotted Up Show, Rigged. So I will be on there answering comic book questions, and hopefully all of my nerdy comic history doesn't just completely go out the window as soon as the question is asked.
You are
So
going to crush it.
I
Like
hope so.
Lobo and Crush. You are going to Lobo and crush it.
I sure hope so. So, fingers crossed. Come out and support your girl. Yeah, that's tonight at, I believe, 7:30 EST. I'm gonna be posting more about it on my Instagram and on Twitter. I know you also dropped a link to the channel at some
Yep.
point during our show, but that is tonight amongst all the exciting things. And then hopefully, because I've been in such a slump with work and time and, poor management life skills, I'm hoping to have some more content on my channel hopefully soon, because I know it has been a hot minute.
Beautiful. I will definitely be in the chat tonight. I think it's at 4:30 my time. If it's at 7:30 your time, sorry.
Wee
It's
wee.
wee wee. Exactly what I'm gonna imagine that sounds like from now on. I imagine that's also the sound that Swallow the Hut makes. Wee wee.
Wee wee.
Um, all right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Mars, thank you for hanging out with me again this week. I missed you last week.
I missed you.
Let's do it again sometime.
Sure.
All right. So bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.